Hey everyone, it's Jack from WhatCulture.com. Now before we get into the fast count, I just have to deliver a message to Peter Austin, Ben Potter and Scott Tailford, our three wonderful gaming editors slash video presenters over at WhatCulture Gaming. What the f*** are you doing in the studio? Every time me and Richard come in, like after you've used the studio, it's a weird sort of exorcist kind of satanic setup. You've got one of the lights pointing directly upwards, you've got a small stack of foam blocks. I don't understand what you're doing. Are you doing some kind of seance? Please get back in touch. But without further ado, really creep me out. Let's look at all the news from this week in the world of wrestling. It's the fast count. Now let's start off with all of this week's WWE news. First, we have the news that Goldberg will be returning to Raw for the first time in over a decade. The WCW legend will be returning to our screens on Monday night from Denver, Colorado, and he'll be accepting, or at least responding to, Paul Heyman's challenge of a match on behalf of his client, Brock Lesnar. Now, a lot of people are excited for this match, and I can see why. Goldberg's still a massive name, but I'm very wary. He hasn't wrestled properly for over a decade. He's not got the best track record with matches against Brock Lesnar. They've only had one at WrestleMania 20 and it was a notorious stinker. And now Lesnar's sort of in a similar position where he's not the most motivated he's ever been. Will Goldberg have a lot of ring rust? Will this somehow work out for the best? I'm not too certain. We'll see how it goes, but I'm certainly on the skeptical side of this one. Interesting. Bit of sad news now. Hideo Itami, having recently returned from a shoulder injury, is injured again. He hurt his neck on a house show, an NXT house show on October the 1st. He botched, or it's hard to tell whose fault it was, but there was a botched power slam involving Itami and Riddick Moss, which ended in Itami landing directly on his neck. According to ProWrestlingSheet.com, the injury is a neck injury and will keep him out for months, a number of months. We're not sure how many, but it does look to be a fairly serious issue. Just like to wish Itami all the best and a speedy recovery, and hopefully once he's came back, this sort of thing won't happen again. Hopefully he doesn't become too injury prone. Very unfortunate. And finally, Paige has received another suspension from WWE for a violation of their infamous wellness policy. The former Divas champion hadn't really been back long from her previous suspension. She hadn't yet returned to screens. There were rumours of surgery needed. There were rumours of hidden injuries. There was, of course, that, I guess, controversial relationship that she's currently in with Alberto Del Rio / Alberto El Patron, which was reportedly frowned upon by many inside WWE. And WWE have actually come out and said, look, this was for an illegal substance. Paige claimed it was for sort of a prescription thing. It's all very unclear, and it's hard to know which side to take when so many details are still murky. But the facts remain that Paige is now suspended for 60 days. Two bits of serious news there, and then the big news of Goldberg's return. So now, let's take a comical little wacky trip into the f***ing crazy world of pro wrestling. Let's get it going, come on. Oh, I'm so excited, and it's time to sound the boring news klaxon because it's legal news now involving TNA. God damn. Now, bear with me because this one is very confusing. Billy Corgan, formerly of the Smashing Pumpkins, of course, and currently one of the shareholders of TNA, is suing TNA and Dixie Carter for something that Dixie did. We're not really sure what it was, but various reports suggest that she was trying to sell a bit more of TNA in order to fund further shows. But we can't say that for certain. All we can say is that Dixie probably tried to do some business without the say-so of Billy Corgan and try to do it in an underhanded way. It's obviously breached his contract or the terms of their deal, and Billy is not happy about it at all. There's also reports that Dixie owes Billy money personally, and Billy released a statement in which he sort of implied that he's still trying to stay on board with TNA, help save the company, rebrand them, and it seems as though he might just be trying to get rid of Dixie before she f***s anything else up so that he can continue to revive the company. A bit of a murky one, can't say anything for certain. The only thing we know for sure is Billy Corgan is suing both TNA and Dixie Carter. This week also saw a New Japan Pro Wrestling pay-per-view, King of Pro Wrestling, in which Kenny Omega and Kazuchika Okada confirmed their status as the main event wrestlers at Wrestle Kingdom 11 in January. Kazuchika Okada is, of course, at the time of speaking, the IWGP champion, heavyweight champion, and Kenny Omega won the G1 Climax earlier this year, which in theory meant that they would headline Wrestle Kingdom 11, but it doesn't always go that way. We've seen it deviate before, but this year it looks as though it is going to happen as both men won matches to retain their spots in the match. It's going to be great. Are you not excited? Kenny Omega, the leader of Bullet Club, Kazuchika Okada, the leader of Chaos, or at least the de facto leader now that Nakamura's got. He's the biggest dog in Chaos. The two biggest factions in New Japan, two of the biggest factions in the world of wrestling, going at it. They're two figureheads. You see what I'm getting at here? Hopefully, it'll be great. And you know, we could potentially see a match of the year candidate as early January in 2017. It's going to be unbelievable, or at least I think and hope. And finally, there were a big pair of victories this week in the world of Lucha Underground and the world of TNA for Pentagon Dark and Moose, respectively. Pentagon picked up a big milestone in his career, pinning Rey Mysterio on this week's edition of Lucha Underground, and Moose, he pinned Ethan Carter III, who, as we all know, doesn't lose a great deal in TNA. You have to fear for EC3, because after losing to Lashley at Bound for Glory, where does he go from here? Bit of a downward spiral, but on the positive side, I guess, Moose is the new #1 contender for Lashley's TNA World Championship. And now it's time to get all sorts of down and delicious, because it's time for the takeaways. Moose takeaways. Fast cow. Moose. Just for all of you out there wondering what that conversation was about, Richard wants me to do that take again because he moved, cracked his ankle, and it picked up on our audio. You're a physical freak, Richard. And now it's time for all of this week's takeaways. Let's all pray for Richard's ankle. It's all good. Takeaway time. Now, this is good. I'm going to sneak in a bonus piece of news because I need to deliver the news to get to the takeaway. Now, the final Impact tapings of 2016 over in TNA are going to take place at the Hardys compound in Carolina. And it's going to... I'm really sorry about that. That was a bit offensive. Now, the Hardys have issued a challenge via Twitter for various tag teams to come to their compound and take them on in a #Apocalypto match. They've challenged the Bucks of Youth and the Day of New, the Young Bucks and the New Day. Looks like the Young Bucks are going to accept their challenge. Not too sure that Vince McMahon would let the New Day, but my takeaway is, which other tag teams do you think will accept Broken Matt's challenge and come to this Apocalypto match? Not really sure what it is. Apocalypto, #that. Secondly, Roderick Strong made his NXT tapings debut this week. Can't reveal what happened. It may be a bit of a spoiler as that hasn't gone out on the network yet, but the point is that Roderick Strong is here in the WWE and he's a heel by all accounts. He seemed a bit of a dick in his interview, and a big focus seems to have gone on the fact that he breaks backs. He's going to be doing a lot of back related. Haven't kept the Mr. Ring of Honor nickname. What a surprise. And finally, our last takeaway looks ahead a little bit to next month and Survivor Series, because as we all know now, on SmackDown, Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon issued a challenge to the Raw brand for 3 different Survivor Series matches, traditional Survivor Series tag elimination matches, a men's match, a women's match, and most cluster of all, a tag match. How do you think these matches go? Do you think they'll be a good idea? And perhaps moreover, what do you think of the traditional Survivor Series match as a whole? Are you sad that it's been gradually diminished as the years have gone on in WWE? Are you glad that they're now returning to prominence, or do you think it's a relic of the past and should be forgotten about? All different opinions. Get your opinions in there. We'll have a little discussion, and as all YouTube comment discussions go, I'm sure it'll be really friendly and no one's feelings will get hurt and no one will bring up Hitler. So that's all for this week on The Fast Count. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Jack from WhatCulture.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Jack_the_jobber, and I will see you soon.
Join WhatCulture Extra today for just $6.99 a month. What do you get for that price? You get extra lists, extra pipe bombs, extra booking videos. You get WCPW episodes in their full unedited form and a day early. You get iPay-per-views included in that price. You get live streams. We're live streaming Raw and SmackDown every single week. Also, if you join in the first 7 days, you get a week's free trial. You can see what it's like and you can quit at any time. For more information, go to whatculture.com/extra today.